Hello everyone, in today's video, we're going to build our custom MCP client with a simple AI chat feature to get better understanding of MCP. Technically, we're going to build a service that creates one MCP client for its MCP server that we like to connect to. And then we can send the information together with our message to Claude APIs or ChatGPT APIs depending on what you want to use to get the response. The image shows the final results of our service. For example, if I asked suggest me 5 action movies in 2024 to watch, the response was from LLM only. But when I asked how many files and folders in my demo folder, LLM responded with the information from Filesystem MCP server. But for the question how much a Bitcoin is in euro today, it used our custom Bitcoin MCP server. So basically, we will go through 5 steps here. First of all, we need to create a project, of course. Secondly, we'll configure our MCP client to connect to a Filesystem MCP server. Here we have only one MCP server, so the service is going to create only one corresponding MCP client for this server. Moving on, we'll connect to the second MCP server, Bitcoin MCP server, which is the one that we made in the MCP server video. So if you're interested in it, you can take a look at the video or you can skip this step. It doesn't matter. The thing is, now we have two MCP servers, so there will be two MCP clients created, one for each server. After making sure MCP client part is working, let's configure Spring Shell so we can interactively chat in the console. And last but not least, configuring our chat client to send our messages to Claude or ChatGPT APIs to get the answers. Okay, let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and create our service. As usual, start of Spring.io. Here, I'm going with Gradle, but feel free to stick with whatever you're most familiar with. Java Spring Boot version 3.4.3. We'll name it Shell MCP Client. Java 21. Dependencies. Here we're gonna need MCP Client, Multi Context Protocol Client, Spring Shell, and Claude, and ChatGPT OpenAI. Here, OpenAI support for ChatGPT. Okay, that's pretty much it. Let's download, unzip, and open it with your most productive IDE. Here, I'm using IntelliJ Ultimate. Look at the build of Gradle or Pond.xml if you're using Maven. So we will have two Maven bombs. Here, one for Spring AI and one for Spring Shell. We also depend on the AI MCP client and Spring Shell, and this is for Claude. This is for OpenAI. So with it, we're done with step 1. Then we're going to step 2. Configured MCP client that connect to Filesystem MCP server. So in order to configure MCP client in Spring Boot and Spring AI, let's take a look at the official documentation for MCP client boot started. So we will need Spring AI MCP client Spring Boot started, which is here. Spring AI MCP client Spring Boot started. And let's disable the orders, shells. So we only need the AI MCP client this step. Actually, it's pretty easy in Spring Boot and Spring AI to configure MCP client. You only need to revise these properties, the command properties and the transport properties. So the command properties, which is already have some default value. So in this time, we just ignore it. Like we just use the default value without any thinking. For transport properties, there's two transport. The STDIO standard input output transport and the server-side event SSE transport. In this video, we only focus on the STDIO transport. And here is the properties that we're going to provide to our service. So there's two ways. The first way is using the server configuration properties that we can use together with an external file, the Cloud Desktop format. The JSON file using Cloud Desktop format look like this. See familiar? We play a lot with it in previous videos. The second way is manually list them down here. So, for example, we have file system, right? So it is the server name. So we have the server name and the command, and argument. and argument. Okay, let's set up our server with the JSON file. Here, let's copy it. And we are going to create new file, MCP servers config.json. Here, we will allow this to access to my demo folder. And let's update the application of YAML. And copy this one. And class path. Here we're going to provide our MCP server config.json. Okay, config.json. Okay, let's start it. We're going to provide a command line runner, which will start automatically when we run our service. And with everything we did in the configuration file, we'll have a bin of list of MCP sync client. So first of all, keep it as a bin. Then we can have list MCP sync client. So we auto-write it here. Be aware that by default the MCP client type is sync. So if we change it to async, then we're going to have a list of MCP async client here. So this time we're using the default sync one. Then let's keep it. Here we know at the moment there's only one Filesystem MCP server, and then we can get it. And then we can have some basic tests. For example, we list all the tools that supported by our Filesystem MCP server. We list them down, and then there's a one tool named list directory, and we provide our path here and to add them to list the directory in our folder. Another thing that I would like to ask here is just about the application context. So we can close it at the end. Configurable application context. And then we can using the application context close. Okay, let's run our service. Oh, the web application could not be started as there was no Spring framework boot web reactive. Okay, let's try to reload it right on. Run it again. Error accessing username. Oh, okay, forgot. Here's my folder. Okay, let's run it again. Here is the list tools, right? The list tool that we're going to bring out to our console. The list tools, so basically have the tools of the Filesystem MCP server, read file. Let's find the list directory. So you see it, there's a tool named list directory, and we are using this tool here in the second code. Okay, and we're using this tool with our folder here, and we're using, so the demo is Spring projects, a kind of Spring projects that I put here in my desktop. So we see there's a file, the directory, the folder, file directory, view radar, and this is. And at the end, we're going to close the context, and we close the application, we close the service. So our MCM file system worked. Then we're done with the step here. Now let's move to connect to our Bitcoin MCP server. Pretty easy. We just need to add a Bitcoin MCP server to the JSON file as we did in the MCP server video. That's it. Here we have file system, and then now we're going to have Bitcoin MCP server, right? Like Java and -jar and the absolute path to our Java file. Okay, just it. Then just need to let's put a breakpoint here and run debug. So we would like to see the order. So now we have two servers, right? Two MCP servers. So it means that our service is going to create two clients. So you see here the list is now contains two MCP client. Okay, and we have the server info. So the first one is the file system. And the second one is the one we just added, the Bitcoin MCP server. Then let's go through. I think the same. Let's add some tests for our second one. Okay, so here is the Bitcoin. So it's a Bitcoin MCP server, right? And the same, we're going to get all the list tools. And the second one, we are going to call, get Bitcoin price by currency. Okay, let's see if it's work or not. This time we don't need to breakpoint, just go. So this is for our Bitcoin MCP server, right? So we have the get Bitcoin price by currency and get historical Bitcoin price and get Bitcoin price. So the default, right? Okay, and then we're going to call the get Bitcoin price by currency, and it's going to return this. It means that our configuration for MCP client works perfectly with the server configuration properties. Now let's try the manual one that without the external file. So base 2. So here we use the server configuration. This time let's use the connection. So still stdio and connection. Okay. stdio. Here we're going to connection, right? And this is the name of the file system, and what we need, the command and argument npx, right? And argument here -y and y is file system, and the last one is the absolute path here. Okay, similar for our MCP Bitcoin server. So it's the name here. I'll put the name here. Command Java and argument -jar and the absolute path -jar the absolute path. Okay, so don't need this anymore. Okay, let's run it again, but let's debug. We would like to check the ordered appeared in the list. Okay, the ordered, here's server info. So here the Bitcoin MCP server appeared at the index 0, and the file system appeared at the index 1, right? So my system has appeared at the index 1. So basically we have to change it back. So that's why we got the error here. But let's back to 0. Okay, I think we saved. Let's try to run it again. Okay, so good. Now we're done with MCP client setting. Okay, let's moving on. Configured Spring Shell. Okay, let's keep it simple. Getting started. Basically, we will need a Spring Shell dependency and a dependency management, the file bomb for Spring Shell. The same in Gradle, Spring Shell dependency and the Maven bomb for Spring Shell. That's it, and it's really easy. Let's copy it one. Let's copy this one, and we're going to create a chat command for our case. First of all, we need to go to the build Gradle, and then yes, a dependency for Spring Shell. Okay, and we have the Maven bomb for Spring Shell as well, so it's enough. Then let's going to create a chat command. Here, just copy it. Shell method, right? So then shell component. That's it. Shell component. Have shell method. Okay, and let's enable the interactive mode. Here, interactive mode. File demo. Spring Shell. Okay. Okay, let's try to run it. Here, health. Type health. and then we see some system command, and we have the hello world command here, right? And if we type hello world, I would like to call this command hello world, and MCP. So basically MCP will pass as a parameter here for the argument, right? So it's going to return a hello world MCP. Okay, enter hello world MCP. So we enable successfully our Spring Shell. Alright, step 3 is done. Now, last step, we have to configure our chat client. And in order to do that, let's uncomment our dependency for Claude. Here I'm going to provide Claude token, but if you have OpenAI token, you can use it instead. Reward Radar and application of YAML. Let's put it here. Here I'm going to, so if you're using OpenAI ChatGPT, this is the setting for the ChatGPT OpenAI API key. Here I'm using Claude API key, so that's why I use this one instead. Command this one. So here is the Claude token. Let's review how to get it quickly. So basically you can access the console anthropic.com setting key, and here you can create a key, API key. So I'm going to create another token called my secret key 2, right? Here. Then I can copy the key and use it here, for example, and close. For example, I just delete this one because now I'm using the key 2, right? But in order to use the token, you need to buy some credits in billing here. So at least $5 for a payment. Okay, so now we're done with a basic properties setting. Let's back to our chat command. We need to replace the sample command with the real one. We need chat client. So basically now we need a private final chat client, and then since we're using Spring AI with Spring Boot together, then we know that there's a builder auto configured for us. Then we can auto the builder here in the constructor of our chat command. And another thing that we can inject here is the tool callback provider, right? To callback provider. So this one will contain all the tools up to client set in this service. Okay, now this builder and default tools. Then we just pass the tool, and then we go to default advisor. We would like to create a new message chat memory advisor. Message chat memory advisor. Okay, and okay, and view. That's it. And let's rename our command. So instead of hello, now it's chat, right? And the name is going to be interactive chat. And this should be our question. Default value, let's say hello MCP Client. And then we're going to return prompt or question, call and content. Okay, let's try to debug. Let's close this. Run. Web application could not be started as there was no reactive web server factory. So basically, when we use the OpenAI Spring Boot Starter or Anthropic Spring Boot Starter, it includes a web server, right? But in this example, we don't want to create a web server. We just want to create a shell, an interactive shell, right? So that's why we can announce that we're not going to use the web application type. So here's Spring main web application type and none. So we're not gonna use any web server. Okay, let's run again. Oh, just client builder require one single bit, but we require two. So just disable one because we are using the Anthropic Claude token, right? So let's keep the Anthropic dependency and let's uncomment the just OpenAI ChatGPT. So otherwise, if you use OpenAI token, then you can use OpenAI instead, and you can provide the OpenAI key here. Okay, then let's run again. Okay, so here you see our builder is auto inject to our just command, right? And this is the Anthropic just model. And here's the tool to MCP client. So here's the client for MCP Bitcoin MCP server, and here's is the client for the file system server. Okay. And since we're using Cloud Sound, we don't need this one anymore. Let's comment it. And now, then let's run it. Okay, now let's ask some questions from the beginning. Chat, suggest me 5 action movies in 2024 to watch. Then I would like to, because we enabled just memory, right? Let's try to just. What was my last question? Okay, now let's try to add something related to our MCP, to our file system MCP server, like how many files and folders in our demo folders. So the only place that they can get the information is from our file system MCP server. Okay, so that's good. Like 8 files and 6 folders, which is good that they know that go to the MCP server to get some information and send them together with the question to the LLMs, right? And that's one. The last one is how much a Bitcoin is in euro. So with this question, it should ask our Bitcoin MCP server. Okay, the current price of Bitcoin is 77,000 euro. Alright, well, that's pretty much just for this video, guys. I hope you got something new out of it. Thank you so much for taking your time watching this video and this series. And as always, see you next time. Happy coding!